Story 1. After 2 children and 4 years, my pregnant fiancé cheated on me for 8 months. So, this is my very first posting on Reddit at all. I just want to give some context of the situation. My fiancé and I have been engaged for 2 years and have been dating for around 4 years. We have 2 beautiful children. One is 2 years and the other is around 3 weeks old. So right at the beginning of our relationship she was still talking to some guy and she was sending lewd pics too. I found out by looking at her Snapchat and she promised it was over and said it would never happen again. She gave me her login info and said I could look whenever I wanted to. I believed her and told her that it could never happen again because cheating is a very strong line that I don't cross. I will try to keep this short, but I logged onto her Snapchat and she was talking to a guy and sending nudes and sending videos that had me in it, that we strictly made for our eyes only. So I confronted her about it and she denied it up until I told her I looked at her Snapchat. I left for about 5 hours and she changed her password to Snapchat. I told her that I wanted to see the messages with the guy again. So, after a while she eventually gave me her Snapchat login again. She said she ended up with him and blocked him and unfriended him and that it was over. And when I logged into her Snapchat, I saw a conversation with her cousin that was not there before. So, I opened it and she confessed everything to this girl, saying she cheated on me for 8 months. How she says she wished she felt regret but doesn't. She says she does love me and I'm the father of her children, but she loves this guy too. She told her it was the best sex of her life. And this guy she talked to every single day either in person or on the phone. So, I eventually go and talk to her back in person. And I asked her just to tell me the truth. I told her that she needed to tell me the truth or we are done. So she feeds me a complete BS story. I mean nothing adds up except for it being 8 months. So, after an hour and a half of talking I stand up and I tell her we're over and we're done. And she needs to move out. I also find out more about him. My fiancé is 19 years old, and the guy is 53 years old. He is a convicted felon for 3 DUI, and just a whole bunch of other things on this record. So right now, I'm just at a loss. I would like to stay together for my kids, and she claims she would like to go to counseling. But I just don't know if counseling can fix something like this. She also said to her cousin that she could BS her way through counseling to try to get me back. So, I just don't know if she is truly wanting to change or if she just wants to BS me. I love her, I truly do. But I don't know if I could forgive something like this. I would like to say I could, but I don't know if I could. I just feel so very betrayed, and it makes my stomach turn every time I think about her talking like that about someone else. And I don't even know if my newborn child is even mine. She only recently started to say, I'm sorry and act remorseful, but before that during our conversations she was monotoned, acting just like she didn't care. So please just any advice would be helpful. I can also clarify anything that I didn't say. Update. Sorry didn't clarify before but these are 2 different guys. The one at the beginning wasn't the same one as the 50-year-old. Reader comment, she is seriously damaged, messed up, not wife material. She seems to lack a conscience, which can be dangerous to society, let alone yourself. You need to end this relationship immediately and seek legal counsel. Your kids are not in a healthy home with this kind of behavior modeling. So, you may need to force a custody evaluation. Original poster, but that's my worry. Her family has money and me not so much. So, I would doubt I could even win in court. Reader comment, please listen to me, DNA test your kids. Possibly none of them are yours, so DNA test them, and if the results are negative don't raise kids that aren't yours. They are only 3 weeks and a 2-yo, you can move on from this, you will feel huge guilt. But it will be the best for you in this case, and that whole ugly situation you and the child are in is only the fault of their ugly mother. You don't have to pay the burden of her vile acts. You are probably young as your possessive fiancé, so being trapped to raise children that aren't yours at 19 years, you will waste your best years and will become a mountain of resentments. If the child is yours, push for 50/50 custody and go to NC/LC with your fiancé. There is not a possibility of reconciliation after what you read. Original poster, definitely going to get paternity tests on both of them. And I am 23 years old. Reader comment, holy F, get both kids test for paternity and an STD test. Out her to everyone, tell her mother. If she is 19 that means this guy committed a crime and her pics and your videos would be CP. She's been involved with this guy since the start of your relationship. She admitted she doesn't love you. She admitted to lying about counseling. She lied when you gave her a chance. She lied about the guy. She cheated many times. What more do you need? Original poster, well, it's a different person than from the start. Sorry if I didn't emphasize that. Story 2. Don't really know what I'm doing. Hello everyone, this is my first time on Reddit, and I wasn't quite able to memorize all the acronyms, so sorry if it's a bit painful to read. Essentially, I found out recently that my partner of 4 years has been cheating recently. From the timeline she's given me, it had roughly been going on for a little under 3 months before I found out. She didn't tell me about it, I had to find out about it. I used to trust her implicitly, but now there's just no trust. I suspected something was happening and gave her so many opportunities to open up about it, but I still had to find out. For the full story, a few months before the affair started, she needed some space, so I moved out for what was meant to be a temporary period of a month. A few weeks into this, I received a message from a friend of mine that showed texts between my GF and her friend that was related to me dropping off a present at the house. It said SHT, LMFAL, F, what if AP was over, to which my partner responded FF I know. She insists that it didn't start at that point, but I'm incredibly skeptical. Anyways, a few months past this, I found out it was happening, and although she tried to deny it, I had indisputable evidence, so she broke down and told me it was kinda like ripping off different layers. She tried to minimize it for as long as possible before I got some honesty. She then told me a lot of details she didn't have to, but insists that it didn't start at my discovery of the message, that it was just in relation to me being a bit pedantic with the space situation, and he had just offered to fix a door. I don't really know what to think or how to discover if this is true or not. Moving forward is already hard enough, but I already feel a second chance given it was a LTA is pretty nuts. If she asked for space due to mental health and was actually just cheating while I was couch surfing, I wouldn't give that chance. Apart from that, she's been working pretty well to try rebuilding trust. She hasn't done the other stuff like disregard my feelings or anything. We agreed to monitoring social media, location, etc. for a bit, especially given she still works with the AP, and active transparency, communication. I don't know what to think, my head's pretty tumultuous. So, I guess I'm just looking for guidance, advice, insights, or anything anyone has to offer. I don't want to give up what was a really good relationship with someone I really love over a suspicion, but I don't know. Thanks for reading my post. Reader comment, please listen to this opus. She needs a new job and new friends. Her workmates more than enabled this. They encouraged it. If there is to be a future, these people and AP need to be out of her life. Original poster, it was only one of her workmates who knew, although another one has found out since AP was cheating on his wife, and he knew I'd tell her if he didn't. The rest don't know though. Initially I said that if she wanted to continue the relationship that she'd have to cut them all off, but although she chose that and went through with it, she got really depressed, so I crumbled. She kept saying that it wasn't a choice, that she'd always choose me, but it was still hard regardless. I don't know how to move on if she's seeing him even just at work though. Reader comment, what kind of relationship did she admit to having with the guy? What was her excuse for needing space? Original poster, she admits that she sees him only as a friend but gave into impulsivity. As for the space, she has a lot of mental health issues and a lot of pretty terrible childhood trauma come up recently. I also wasn't being the best boyfriend. I had a lot of resentment built up from moving in together young when she pressured me into it. After the space, I did a lot of self-reflection though and worked to improve all this and meet her needs. So that's why I'm so confused if it did start after I had made all these improvements and not before. Reader comment, I'm not asking for the gory details, but can you be at least a little more specific about what gave into impulsivity means, and is it something you can forgive or is it really bothering you? And will her impulsivity lead to her doing things like this or more again in the future? Original poster, I wasn't too sure if it would violate the rules, so I've been trying to be pretty brief on everything. Sorry about that. She has a lot of mental health issues and likely a lot of them are linked to some childhood trauma of hers. It resurfaced pretty terribly around the supposed timeline, so she said that it led into a self-destructive cycle. She is seeking therapy and stuff, but her bookings are a way off, but she isn't positive that something might trigger her back into a self-destructive cycle. Reader comment, how do you rationalize a really good relationship? I'd say that was in distant past. Also, I hope you don't really believe it didn't start before she needed space. Original poster, yeah, I think I'm hoping it's the truth, but deep down, especially given the texts between her and her friend, there's really no other explanation, but also no way to really prove one way or the other. Story 2. My wife confessed to me that she is in love with a female colleague of hers. Prelude. My wife entered my life more than 15 years ago as teenagers. After a couple years of being friends, we admitted we had more to share with each other and entered into a romantic relationship. I struck gold, she was out of my league, and everyone knew it but her. As we grew into adults, her goals and ambitions became mine, and she selflessly made mine hers. We developed a mature love by a young age. We lived apart in college and in different states altogether our upperclassmen years. As anyone who has stepped foot on a college campus can attest, it takes a special kind of trust and respect for the dignity of your significant other to not cave to campus temptations. But we made it through with nothing more than forgivable demerits. Our first pregnancy occurred in our 7th year together. It was entirely unplanned and unexpected, and we were rightfully terrified of becoming parents. Fresh out of college and worth less than the clothes on our back, with a medical circumstance that would delay the start of my career by about 6 months, fate was pointing to her parents' basement. This didn't settle with me. I found a dead-end door-to-door sales job that I left after a month because the panic attacks became intolerable. But not before I scrapped together the $1,000 we needed for the eventual deposit on our apartment. My medical circumstance passed, and my job search took a turn for the better. We secured an apartment from an ownership group that had denied us at the beginning of the pregnancy. I literally walked into the office with a copy of my job offer and said, "See, I'll have the money." We moved in 18 days before the birth without even an item of furniture. Our first night of independence was spent eating leftover pizza on the floor of our new apartment while watching movies on my laptop because we didn't own a TV. But our new home was beautiful, we were proud, and we raised our daughter there for the next 2 years. In our 10th year together, a second pregnancy greeted us with surprise, and we greeted it with elation. But we had outgrown our small home, and it was time to find a better one. Better turned out to be much, much better, a testament to our investment in ourselves and shared commitment to financial wellness. Interlude. Now, the biggest regret I have in my relationship is not asking for marriage sooner. We justified putting it off on practical grounds. But we confessed to each other that it is something we both wanted, and it was clear that we'd have already wed if our cards had played differently. Our engagement was celebrated, and then promptly interrupted with the arrival of COVID in the United States just weeks later. But after an elongated engagement, we planned an extravagant wedding in a dreamy destination, a toast to the lives we carved for ourselves and the years yet to come. Before our families and closest friends, I expressed my love for her, my promise to be faithful, and made a commitment to endure even during the worst times. I gave her my vows, greater than how fortunate am I to marry the girl I fell in love with more than 13 years ago. We were teenagers and it was an innocent love, but it was love. Greater than when we were older and lived apart, I fell in love with you again. This was a different love though, a more mature love weaved with dignity and trust. Greater than, and of course, there's the love I discovered for our girls, for our family, and for you as a mother. Greater than, there are all kinds of love in this world, but never the same love twice. The point isn't to fall in love once, but over and over again for the rest of our lives. And that is what I vow to do. I've known my wife for 15 years and have been in love for nearly as long. And now we've been married for 8 months. D-Day. Unfortunately, there's a lot more to say about the past 2 days than there is about the last 15 years. 2 days ago, my wife confessed to me that she is in love with a female colleague of hers. Dumbstruck that she was coming out to me as bi and leaving me in the same breath, she calmly explained that she was having an emotional and physical affair with this woman over 8 or 9 occasions in the past 2 months, and she is making the decision to end our marriage and pursue this new relationship. But she is excited to co-parent with me. She is confident that she is not destroying our family, rather, she is helping our children since they no longer need to observe an unhappy marriage. I was blindsided, as this is the first time the words unhappy marriage had ever presented in a conversation of ours. I've spent nearly 50% of my life as a partner to this woman, and in 30 seconds she shared how flagrantly and unremorsefully she violated her promise of fidelity to me, while also robbing me of the opportunity to honor my vows for better or for worse. My evening today ended particularly dramatically, with the affair partner telling me on the phone that my wife is a strong, confident woman who can make decisions on her own. I agreed, but also reminded her that my wife's business is none of her effing business. After pressing her, she conceded that this is not the first marriage she has involved herself in, but true love can't be explained with reason or logic, and time spent in a relationship is a trivial factor for love. She believes she's never loved a woman like she loves my wife, she never will again, and she is prepared for my wife and children to move in with her. The affair partner further lectured me that every woman needs to find her truth, the same mercurial words that have entered my wife's vocabulary in the past 48 hours. When pressed further on whether she has even a basic appreciation for the marriage she is abetting the destruction of, she said her view of marriage is probably different than mine since she was denied the right to marry until 2015, a sideways confession that she had considered my life and family and decided we don't matter. My wife's values have completely shifted in an alarmingly short period of time. When I point this out to her, she accuses me of gaslighting her, claiming she has always believed that marriage is a patriarchal institution designed to trap women in marriages even if they are unhappy, and ours was a simple legal agreement she is choosing to vacate. In any case, she continued, she has reached the truth that she hasn't been in love with me for at least 5 years and she never should have married me in the first place. Any attempt to persuade her otherwise is met with contempt, and if I try to appeal to a sense of decency and morality, she shuts down the conversation by accusing me of flexing paternalistic superiority over her. While she admits she should have handled this differently, she refuses to regret it, and any topic that touches on how her exceptionally poor judgment is bound to lead to a sad and grievous outcome for our family is completely off limits to her. I love my wife deeply and I will keep my vows because I meant them when I said them, and I owe at least that much to my children. but these events have left our marriage circling the drain at a record pace. Reader comment, there is no marriage and no vows to be kept. The sooner you accept this, the sooner you can start your new life, either with her or by yourself. It's definitely new chapter. First, don't do the pick-me dance, it never works and makes everything worse. Just do hard 180 and gray rock her. You have to show her that the things will not happen the way she thought it would post-divorce. There is no such thing as cheating on your spouse and staying friends with him. Cut your contact with her except kids-related issues. If she moves in with her AP, use co-parenting app. Don't engage with her or her AP. You can't change anything by talking to her, but just maybe with your actions. See a good divorce lawyer and learn your legal options and file for divorce. Reporting them to HR maybe cause them losing their jobs, but in a divorce, it will be disadvantageous for you. So, listen to your lawyer. Focus on yourself and your kids. Be the best dad you can be. Do some hobbies. Start doing the things you want to do but cannot do because of your marriage. Eat, sleep healthy, exercise. Show her that life doesn't begin and end with her, it really doesn't. So, in this process, if she shows some real remorse and wants to come back, you'll consider it. If not, you'll go on with your life. Good luck. Reader comment, all the way. Opus needs to realize that his wife not only cheated on him but their kids as well. That's emotional abuse right there. The AP is pure trash, not just for taking part in nuking his marriage but proudly admitting to doing this to others and acts like these are games to her. They both need to be fired. Who knows how many families she's destroyed and hides behind her fecal matter of truth. Once the novelty wears off, AP will chuck his cheating wife to the curb like all the other garbage. To Opus, when that happens, don't take her back. Listen to this very carefully. Do not take her back. Your empathy for her will be your undoing. Let her AP keep her and see how long that they last. Be there from this moment on strictly for yourself and your kids. They will at least know that there was one parent that loves and chose them. Get a good lawyer, the best SL you can afford, and get a good network of support. You're emotionally too vulnerable right now and you need all the support you can get. Reader comment, Opus, understand this and this alone. She did not just betray you, she has also betrayed both of your children. Both your parents and in-laws, all of your friends. She chose to do this for her truth. Her truth is more important than you and your children and everything else. A real spouse, if they were unhappy, would talk to you about it. If no consensus can be reached, amicable divorces. She did not do this. She chose to cheat. Start the gray rock 180 and go to NC with her except for the needs of the kids. Go total NC with the AP. Expose her affair to your parents and family as well as her parents and family. Tell all of your mutual friends, do not let her dominate the narrative. Close all accounts that you jointly have and give her half of the saved liquid assets. Cancel all joint credit accounts. Consult the best 3 divorce lawyers in the area. Take the best one that fits your needs. Drink lots of water. Remember to eat and hit the gym. The exercise will help keep your mind occupied. Get yourself and your children into IC. This is no game. Your wife is so deep in the affair fog that she is not seeing the damage that she is causing. Check the laws of your state. If you are in an at-fault state, you can keep the lion's share of the assets, house, primary custody of the children, and she can get no alimony. Also check to see if your state has alienation of affection laws. This will allow you to potentially sue the AP. Since the AP is a colleague from work, go to the HR department and make a report. The longer you wait to take action, the more your wayward wife and her AP can set and control what is going to happen. Also record any and all communications with them. Look back through her social media, gain as much evidence as